I'd like to call this meeting of the Board of Selectmen to order for Monday, November 13th, 2023. Could I have a motion to go into executive session? Mike moves. Marcy second. All in favor? Good. We'll be right back. Could I have a motion to return to regular open session? Mike, second. Sarah, all in favor? Aye. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. All right, I talked to Kate. We don't have any presentations tonight, so first Selectmen's report. Two items for you. So first, normally around this time of year, we'll have a release of the gates at Gorham's Pond that's used to flush that pond. That was not done today or yesterday, but it's going to be done shortly. Is that right, Ed? Tomorrow? Okay, so that will be part of the regular flushing of that pond. Second thing to update you on is that on November 2nd, there was an employee service celebration. I think, Monica, you went to that. And it is remarkable, the longevity of some of the employees in town. Chief Don Anderson at the police department, that fine gentleman has been with this town for 40 years. And he was telling me when I saw him the other day that in the run-up to the actual date of his 40th anniversary, he wanted to just go hide someplace where he would actually make that date. And I thought that was great. But congratulations to him and Joe Bocchicchio and John Sonderstrom, both of them at 35 years. And for all the long-serving town employees, it's fantastic that they're a part of this community and part of what makes this town work, but we're very appreciative of that. Next is we have leaf pickups this time of year, so that's important for folks who are looking to dispose of leaves that they collect. So one of the things you got to be aware of is that this is for bag leaves. So if you're going to have leaves that you want the town to pick up, those leaves need to be in proper paper bags, not plastic bags. The schedule for that is that we have 2 more pickups. It'll be actually tonight, so actually 1 more pickup. But Monday, November 27th is our last pickup. It'll be north of the railroad tracks on that day, and then Wednesday, November 29th, south of the railroad tracks. So just where that is, that's when we'll be doing pickups. And I'm sorry, we do have 1 more Wednesday, November 15th. This coming Wednesday will be south of the railroad tracks. So just to be clear, the leaf bags need to be in those proper kind of paper bags that you see. Monica and Ed worked very hard to come up with a planting plan for the Norton Heights train station. So if you've been out there after our dear friends at Eversource did their clear cutting, it looked like an alien landscape, at least I thought it did. But Monica and Ed actually spent a fair bit of time to come up with a plan. I think there will be 76 different plantings that Eversource has agreed to through the hard work that you guys did, and Ed for all your design work to get that done. It's going to look a lot better than it does now. And as somebody who commuted out of that station for 20 years, I'm very appreciative of that, and I'm sure a lot of other people are. So thank you to you both. That's terrific. There was a Veterans Day celebration this past Saturday, and I just wanted to extend our appreciation as a board to all veterans in this town. It is incredibly wonderful to have so many veterans as residents of the town of Darien, and have a celebration like that, I think was terrific. Captain Sue-Ann Shore, United States Navy, was there and organized all of this. I was not there myself. You were there, Monica. Was it a great?
Yeah, it was
nice,
beautiful.
Very nice affair. But thank you to Captain Shore as well as everybody who was involved in that. It is a great thing, and we look forward to do it next year. Election Day has passed us, and I just want to take a moment to thank all the folks who were working so hard on all that. First, our folks in the election office, Kara Gately and Susan Gray, they're the registrar of voters. They are tireless and work very hard to make sure our elections go smoothly, and they certainly did that this year. Krista McNamara in the town clerk's office, she managed the absentee ballot process. She also set up the swearing-in ceremony that we had last Wednesday, which was terrific, and I just wanted to thank her for doing all that. And then, of course, Corey and Tracy, who work in the registrar's office. All of you guys are terrific and have done a fantastic job, and we really appreciate that. There was an old timers dinner this past Saturday. I had missed that as well, but I believe both of you were at the dinner. You certainly were. And it was extraordinarily well-attended affair. There were hundreds of people there, and I think TV 79 was, or Channel 12 from, I think they were all there.
250, I think.
250 people, but terrific. There was an award ceremony, and kudos to everybody who was able to attend, and for all the folks who prepared that dinner and celebrated that group. I think it was terrific. This Wednesday, the 15th, there's going to be a Thanksgiving dinner where I think all of us, or some of us, are serving, cake serving. I'll be there for the senior center, so we're looking forward to that day. And the last thing I wanted to mention was a dinner that Marcy, Monica, and I attended this past weekend called Stronger Together. So this was a gathering of 250 or so young men on the the Darien and New Canaan high school football teams. The purpose of all that was mental health, mental awareness, and the trouble many young people face. There were a number of, I thought, very moving speakers who were there. There was a video that the organizers arranged that had a lot of very substantive football stars who, when they heard about the efforts to support the mental health of our young people, given the recent tragedies in that community, it was absolutely amazing. It was extraordinarily well done. All the major elected officials from both towns were there in attendance, as were coaches and others associated with these fine young men. It was a real privilege to be at that dinner, and I just want to make sure that everyone there, both on the New Canaan and the Darien side, knew how much we appreciated all of that. It was fantastic. So that's it for my report. Kate?
Just two things. Department heads are working on budgets. I'm already seeing things coming in, so we're all going to have our work cut out for us. And it is parking permit renewal season. We did have, looks like about 90% of the Norotan permits are already renewed. A little bit less at Leroy West. About 90% at Squab and Mechanics, but people, if you have a permit, you need to get it renewed because there is a drop dead date after which we won't renew them anymore.
Okay. Thank you very much. Board liaison reports. Marcy?
Sure. Oxford's Building Committee has not met since our last meeting. That committee is starting to really wind itself down, which is great. Building is still running as well as it was on opening day. It's everybody seems to be happy, so no report there. The Mental Health Task Force met as a large group 2 weeks ago. One of the upcoming things that's happening is something called Survivors Day. That will be on November 18th. Norotan Presbyterian has offered to use their space. Survivors Day is specific for those who have survived this tragedy of suicide. So you have to have a closely connected person in your life that you've lost, and you attend this event, and it's sort of a healing and therapeutic session to kind of discuss your journey. I did attend Hope Day, which was hosted by the Darien Depot. That was 2 weeks ago Saturday. Very well attended. The chorus from Darien High School attended, sang some wonderful stuff. There was a bunch of really great projects, some great speakers. I had the opportunity to share my story, and I think it was a really well done event. They're planning to do that again next year, but it was a purpose to bring hope back to the community and understand that everybody has some mental health issues that all need to be tackled. And that's about it. We still have an agenda that we're going over, some planning and programming to happen throughout the holidays and coming in the spring, and I will keep you guys posted as those come out.
Perfect, thank you. Monica, anything on Great Island you'd like to say?
No, but I will say that I went to the Hope event, and Marcy's got a lot on her plate, and her comments were really, really moving, and I think a high point for that event.
Thank you.
Terrific, thank you. That's great to hear. Okay, Sarah.
Thriving Youth has their next meeting this Thursday, November 16th at 9:30 at the Darien Library, so I can report after that. The Hinley Homes and Royal Building Committee met last Wednesday, and we'll be meeting again this coming Wednesday evening on Zoom, and we reviewed briefly the bids that had come in last Wednesday afternoon. This is a rebid of 12 bids out of the original, I think, 17 bid packages. And there's some overall negative movement in comparison with the bid we received in July. Overall, the bids are over the estimates that were originally put out about a year and a half ago. We did have some additional bidders that were a part of this process that had not been in July, so that was good. We did have some bids where there was competition. In comparison, in July, we had some bids where they were the only one received for each. So we will be meeting Wednesday night to go over and discuss the ad alternates and make a decision on the bids this Wednesday,
What time is that meeting?
6 p.m.
6 p.m. Okay.
Sarah, they're holding, the ones that didn't rebid, they're holding those, right?
Yes,
Is there like an inflation clause or anything in there?
they have met with them and asked if they would be willing to hold that number, and if they said yes, then we held it if we were happy with that number.
Okay.
But we went through every single one, and some of them are below or at the original estimate and were one of several bids, and so we felt they were appropriate and they were kept, so.
Thank you. Mike?
Yep.
The Blight Review Board met on November 8th. We reviewed the 17 properties on the list. One was actually removed, a commercial property that had cured its issue. So we're down to 16. We have 4 that have been observed but have not been found firmly to have blight conditions, and those people are slated to come to our January meeting. Sometimes the folks who we invite come and sometimes they don't, but then at the January meeting, we will determine whether or not they should be in blight and fine status or removed, or we can decide to forbear fines if they talk to us about things or remediations that they plan to take up in the next 30 to 60 days.
Is your caseload stable, or are you?
It's really fairly stable, and citizens will call town hall or call us to complain about a blight condition, and often it won't necessarily meet the blight standards. It doesn't look nice, but it's not truly blight. The other aspect is that someone might live behind a property and observe a blight condition in the back, but by statute, we can't go outside the road, outside public property to look and judge those matters. But, the town staff does a terrific job of moving through the process and keeping us well-informed and very well documented. I mean, I don't put this in our reports when we do them here, but when we have our Blight Review Board meetings, which are on television, those, each property is photographed, but usually the day before for status, and then comprehensively reviewed.
Okay. Thank you. Kate, any public comments?
No.
No? Okay. New business. First item, discuss and take action on a request to authorize an appropriation and bonding authorization in the amount of $2,067,250 for the Hanson Road Bridge replacement. Mr. Gentile.
Good evening. Ed Gentile, Director of Public Works. I'm going to turn this. First item I have for you tonight is the Hanson Road appropriation. I know you have the resolution in hand, but I'm going to give you a little background just so you understand where we stand today and how we got here. Understand in July of 2022, we recognized settlement at the bridge where we found the western bridge abutment had been compromised. A section of it had failed. We made some temporary repairs with permission from the state and local EPC. And currently, and then at that time hired a consultant to do start doing the design, apply for permits. Also, part of their task was to address funding. And we started to put together and look for funds from the state local bridge program, which is the small bridge program, if you will. Currently, we are at, I'd say about 75%, 80% design. We're getting ready to submit for permits. We have met with the state DEEP and the Army Corps of Engineers in a joint session. We also have submitted to the state local bridge program our application, and we did get a favorable response back in July of this year. they have looked at our estimate and approved the funding of $1,021,000. Our estimate for the project had come in total to $2,042,000. So this program will fund only half of it. That's actually pretty good. We did get a quick response back. There is funding in place. We're on target to submit our supplemental soon. But just to give you a flavor, it includes design costs, includes right-of-way costs, any easements that we may need. The estimate, of course, for construction was $1.5 million. There's construction inspection, there's a contingency of 10%. All of that, if you add it all together, brings you just over $2 million. That's the resolution and bonding that you see in front of you.
So I'm sorry, the $1,021,000 in state funding, that's part of this $2,067,000? That's, okay.
So
So you'll appropriate this and then we get the funding from the state to offset the,
yes.
okay.
So we have to appropriate the full amount, but the bonding resolution also allows for other sources of funding.
Got it, okay. That's terrific, actually, to get that application submitted meticulously like that, to get funding like that. That's amazing. That's really great.
The timing was fortunate. The project is not a fortunate project, but the things seem to play out well as far as the bridge program being funded.
Okay.
That's a shot in the dark sometimes, whether that is going to be funded and pick you up. So, which is one of the reasons we're rushing through this process to get us to a bidding opportunity. Hopefully in January and February, which is why I'm here trying to set everything up
Okay.
on the financial end.
Can you provide just a quick overview of sort of timing as to what people can expect? So we're here today, sort of bridge and lane closures. When would this work start? When do you think it'll finish the design? When would it be finished, just to give people a ballpark as what to expect?
Because of the nature of the roadway and the need to shut this down, we did submit a detour plan to the local traffic authority about a week and a half ago for their approval. And during that plan, it has recognized that we're going to need about 5 months of road closure. And now, I want to say that is tentative. It's based on a schedule that we've put together, not from a contractor. We haven't implemented staging yet. So we went to them to show them that, okay, we're going to need a closure. What would you allow us to do? What we are trying to do right now is get everything in place, all the permits signed off, easements in place, and bid this in January. That's a pretty aggressive schedule. Lately, we've been seeing some good responses in our bids. Hopefully we'll get something back in late February, early March, and possibly start construction as soon as it gets warm enough in April. There's a piece of the project that's going to require us to work with the water company. They currently have a water main that runs along the southerly portion of the bridge in the middle of the river. Actually, you can see the pipe. All the underlayment of the riverbank has been washed away, and you can see the pipe. They want to relocate it underneath our culvert, or underneath our bridge, if you will. We've also picked a type of construction that would allow us to demo the entire bridge, close the road down, bypass water on the side in a large pipe, and drop what we would consider to be culverts. They're just big, large concrete boxes, instead of having to pour a bridge and wait for it to cure for 28 days and do another section of the bridge. This is going to cut down our construction schedule significantly.
Great.
And this is what we're looking to do, so we can open up the bridge and open up that roadway as quick as possible.
So, Ed, is it, it seems like 5 months is like kind of long. Is it because you're diverting the Stony Brook?
It is. We have to set it up so that, for two things. One, we have to set it up to bypass normal flow. Golf course has been really nice. They have a pond there that can help us with that water, and they do that now anyway. Second, we have to prepare in case we have a storm, right? That bypass pipe is not going to handle a 50-year storm, a 100-year storm event. We have to be prepared for that too. So you have those two scenarios you have to be set up to handle if it was to happen out there. But yes, the bypass, the water main underneath, the demolition, now 5 months, we stretched it. We went for the detour plan to be approved. We may come back and it may be shorter. It may be significantly shorter. But if I can get the box culverts in, water back in its channel, the roadway on the surface of those culverts put back compacted and an asphalt lane put in, I can possibly open up that road and still work on the bridge abutments. They're all gonna be stone, masonry on both ends, but I can do that work with the road open. So we're gonna focus on trying to get that road open as soon as possible. The target date is August. I wanna make sure everything's done in August. School opens up September.
That's a busy area for
Yeah.
trying to filter in.
Other questions for Ed?
Just one last, the small bridge, was it a 50-50 share? I mean, where'd they come up with that amount? The 1 million?
50-50.
It is a 50%.
It is a 50?
Yeah, the state local bridge program is a 50-foot.
It is a 50.
50% grant.
Match.
Matching grant.
Okay.
Okay, could I get a motion to approve, request to authorize a resolution appropriating $2,067,250 for costs of construction related to the replacement of the Hanson Road Bridge and authorizing the issuance of bonds and notes in the amount of $2,067,250 to meet said appropriation. Marcy moves, Mike second, all in favor? Okay, thank you, Ed. Next up, discuss and take action on a request to amend the appropriation and bonding authorization to increase the amount by $2,357,300 to $4,697,300 for the sanitary sewer system project. Ed.
So back onto sanitary sewers now. We have completed quite a bit of the first phase, if you will, of the appropriation of $2,340,000. I think we appropriated about 3 or 4 years ago just to get started with the project. It's the I&I program. There was a section of clean water grant funded 55%. So that first phase of engineering and inspection and evaluation has been completed. We also submitted to the Clean Water Fund, the DEP, and we've already gotten our 55%. So that has been taken care of. So that was almost $700,000 worth of work. From that work for $700,000, they came up with 3 phases of construction to improve our sanitary sewer system. The best way to explain it is, we just did a large project on Old Kings Highway South. We lined that entire section of piping, 3,500 linear feet. We used ARPA money to do the construction, but we used bonded money to do the engineering and inspection. So we used some of the funds there too. Also coming out of those funds, we have to video and clean 10% of our sewer system. We have 80 miles of sanitary sewer, roughly speaking, and we have to do 8 miles a year. It usually takes us about 2 months or so to do it. We're actually just wrapping up this year's, so this will be our 3rd year doing it. We'll have 30% completed. What that does, it tells us how our system is doing, points out any deficiencies or breaks or pipe realignments. We found a couple of those. We're going to be repairing those. So that's another section of the bonding that was used. The big piece is this phase 2 construction. So phase 1 was Old Kings Highway. Phase 2 construction, we're out there. We just started. It's $1.6 million. There's also a piece of the design, which was $260,000. Design, inspection, certifications at the end. So we're into this, the original 2.3 million. We're projected to be at a total of 2.9. So 2.3, 2.9, we were about $580,000 over. We just transferred $580,000 out of ARPA. So right now, I'm pretty much solvent at 0. We're going to finish our work this year. We're in the middle of phase 2 construction. So, okay, what's next? Well, phase 3 construction. That's the third bullet point out of that first engineering report. That is $1.2 million in engineering work, another $250,000, $1.5 million for the next phase, engineering and construction. Right. Now that I got that first phase of the engineering evaluation of the town, the 3 phases that they gave me to go out and do repairs, what's next? Sewer Commission now has told me to start another section of town. So we actually have to start the whole process over again. They're going to pick another section of town that has high infiltration rates, or we've noticed them through our our pump station readings indicating high levels when it rains. The pumps are running longer. They're pumping more. So we picked out another section to start evaluating again. And that's going to be included in this $2.3 million increase. I also put in that next year's 2024, 10% cleaning. That's about $120,000. That's in the bonding request. So I'm trying to program myself out so that I don't run out of money. But this first phase was very productive. We found a lot of things. We accomplished a lot of things. We averted, I'd have to say, about 2 or 3 different areas where, you know, the pipe was questionable at best. And we found it and we went and corrected it. So this has been a good program. The next phase and even the next evaluation phase after that is going to start wrapping up this town, you know, to an area where I know the sanitary sewer system is reliable.
Yeah, this is not as cool as park investment, but really important to get this right. So thank you for all the attention on this. Questions for Ed? Sarah?
The sewer commission has approved this request, correct?
Yes, they knew I was going in front to add for additional bonding. I have a meeting with them tomorrow to give them the numbers. I put this together just after the last meeting. They are aware, and I made them aware that I'm going in for additional bonding.
Okay, I thought the process was that the sewer commission needed to approve the funding appropriation before it came to Board of Selectmen. Is that not accurate? No, okay.
Well, the sewer commission is aware of all
The
this.
sewer
but
commission is
so-
aware, but the funding is coming from general fund bonds. It'd be different if they were issuing sewer, if they
So
were issuing
sewer-
revenue bonds.
Okay, and they're not, and.
They're not, no.
Okay,
We issue and then they pay us back.
got it.
Other questions for Ed? Okay, could I get a motion to approve the request to amend the appropriation and bonding authorization to increase the amount by $2,357,300 to $4,697,300 for the sanitary sewer system project? Marcy moves. Sarah seconds. All in favor? Thank you. Okay, next item, discuss and take action to approve the Board of Selectmen regular meeting schedule for 2024. Kate?
So you all have the draft calendars in 3 different styles. I looked out for the scheduled RTM meetings for school and religious holidays, important Board of Finance meetings, and remembering our charge to meet twice a month.
I had a chance to look through all this. It closely mirrors what we've done before and avoids holiday and school break pitfalls, I think, pretty well.
Yeah.
Let's see how the budget workshop sessions go, and we'll see if there's a way to maybe consolidate some of that, or let's take a look at over the course of this year. Any questions on the calendar?
There's just one little typo. February 6th says it's a Thursday night, it's a Tuesday night.
Oh, thank you.
Oops. That is a good catch. Thank you.
And I will tell you right now, I will not be at the August 5th meeting. There was no way to avoid, I'm going to be out of the country both the 5th and the 12th, so. You can arrange a substitute at that point, or you can wing it.
Hey, Kate, on November 4th, you have in the verbal one, you have set NY calendar?
Set next year,
Oh, okay, next year. All right.
yeah.
And
You
then,
try and lay out on that written one, things that we might do at certain points during the year.
right,
So like to see, reappoint the Great Island Advisory Committee when they're a year.
I thought it was next year, but then I thought.
Could
maybe
be New
we're-
York, yeah.
Maybe we're expanding, and
Annexing.
John's thinking bigger. And then on the budget, you have for Wednesday, February 7th, you have it as a special meeting? Why?
It doesn't need to be. As long as we post it now, it doesn't need to be.
Other questions on the calendar?
No, I appreciate you looking at all the dates, went through, and there's nothing that corresponds. Thank you.
Yep. Motion to approve? Marcy, Mike, second. All in favor? Great, thank you. Okay. Next item, discuss and take action to approve settlement litigation. Kate, did you have some language for that resolution?
Yes.
Okay, we have discussed some litigation in executive session, and I would like a motion that the Board of Selectmen hereby approves settlement of the case of Project Service LLC versus the Town of Darien, as detailed in the settlement agreement presented by the town attorney. Could I get a motion to approve that? Mike? Sarah, second. All in favor? Okay, thank you. Okay. Parking Authority business. Discuss and take action on a request for a transfer of $40,000 for railroad platform shelters. Mr. Gentile.
So the transfer that you have in front of you, sorry, from the Parking Fund Capital Project is to address the new shelters that are going up on the Darien platform project that, if you haven't noticed, has just started over in the Darien Railroad Station. We have a hard number from the manufacturer. I had the money for the purchase. What I didn't have was for the delivery and stamped engineering drawings, which are almost $30,000. So we are purchasing something to $208,000. 4 shelters. They're 20 by 10, glass enclosed. They'll go on top of the platforms to add additional areas of refuge, if you will, during inclement weather. Down along, there's 3 of them on the New York bound side. There's 1 on the New Haven bound side, and we've stretched them across. That was our solution to them not wanting to spend money on extending the canopies. This was the solution that they felt that they could live with.
Are these like the glass enclosed one at Norton Heights on
Yeah.
the New Haven bound side? Okay.
A little bit nicer because it's going to match the architecture a little bit,
Okay.
coming off the canopies.
And just so I'm clear on the cost, so you're requesting $40,000, but you read in here, it talks about an original appropriation of $100, and then it looks like an additional $75,000, some back and forth with the state. But with this 40, does that mean the total town cost is $215? Those 3 numbers added, or?
It comes to 208, and I added just a little bit in there for that odd request for something else that I need to pay for that's small and change, so I just rounded it up a little bit.
Okay.
And just to be clear, it comes, this comes out of the parking capital fund.
Right, that's the other
It's
thing.
not tax dollars.
Yep. Okay. Questions for Ed on this?
Hey, Ed, was it always, I thought it was 3. I thought it was 2 and 1. Was it always 4?
Yeah.
It was,
Yeah.
okay.
I pushed for 3 on that one side because of the use of that platform
Right,
at that station.
right. And 1 is enough on the other side?
The use on the New Haven bound side is very light.
Okay, okay.
Okay. No other questions? Motion to approve a transfer of $40,000 from capital projects to the Darien Railroad Station platform shelters. Marcy moves, Monica seconds. All in favor? Okay. All right. Next up is discuss and take action on request to transfer $20,000 to the Hanson Road Bridge account. Edward.
Okay, back to Hanson Road Bridge. It's, we have been throughout the process now, I'd say it would be let's say August of 2022, had put in place over there a steel plate on the roadway. We've put barricades along the side of the road to force the cars away from the edge that has the bridge abutment, if you will, compromised. We rent that plate from a local contractor. It's 20 feet by 10 feet. Special equipment to drop it in place, take it away, but I've left it there for safety precautions. If for whatever reason that bridge abutment decides to settle or drop a little bit more or does something sudden, we have the opportunity not to have a vehicle hit a sharp edge or anything like that. There'll be actually a slow transition, give us an opportunity to shut it down permanently without there being an accident out there. So we've been renting that plate at about $1,000 a month. And I thought that was a precaution that I needed to put out there for my own well-being and my own safety.
Okay. Questions for Ed on this? Monica?
You're looking for 6 more months, that is $1,000, that's $6,000, but you're asking for 20?
We are back into September, or October, so we're gonna owe maybe 10 months total
Okay,
when we get to hopefully April, when we start, the contractor takes over.
So this is almost 2 years of plate rental is what you're talking about? Okay.
And
Other
for those
questions?
that don't know, it actually takes a car driving across, or a large truck, which does use that road quite often, it takes and disperses the load across that plate instead of just having it centralized across the abutment.
Other questions? All right, motion to approve a transfer of, please.
nope,
Oh.
remove.
Motion to approve a transfer of $65,000 from Board of Finance Reserve to, oh, I'm sorry,
No.
wrong one.
40. 20.
$20,000 from
Board of Finance Reserve.
Board of Finance Reserve to the Hanson Road Bridge account. Motion to approve.
You move.
Monica moves, second. Mike, all in favor? Great, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it, Ed, thanks.
Good night, Ed.
Next item, discuss and take action on a request to transfer $4,162 in unspent funds.
No.
Good.
It's $65,000, road and fire department gas conversion.
Oh, I'm sorry, I checked off the wrong thing. All right, let's try again, friends.
Skipping over.
It's going to make you last, we'll cover you at 10 o'clock tonight. Okay. So,
My name is Mike Brookhart, I'm president of the Road and Fire Department.
Go ahead.
I'm here to request a transfer from the Board of Finance Reserve of $65,000 to the natural gas conversion account for the Road and Fire Department. This project was originally planned and budgeted for the 2020 budget cycle. The project has been delayed for multiple reasons, mostly out of our control. We finally got to the point last year where we started to put some real numbers together and, went to look at getting quotes on our own and realized that we were going to be way under budget or over budget. So through Kate's guidance and then the help from Dave and Tony from the town, we were asked to cut out, some things that were in it that were not must-haves. Like we were going to replace the backup generator to the building, add a separate heating and air system to part of the building that doesn't have good heat. So we cut out what we could, again, through the help of Tony and Dave. And we got it to a point where we put it out to bid recently. And unfortunately, I've had some difficulty in getting bidders. We actually had to put it out 3 times to finally get. We were putting it out 3 ways. So we were putting out a bid request for the HVAC portion, one for the electrical portion, and one for the plumbing. And it took 3 tries to finally get all 3 trades to bid on it. So we do now. We feel like we have 3 acceptable bids on the table. Between what we've already spent, between that and then what we are estimating we would spend on the HVAC, plumbing, electrical, some miscellaneous carpentry and masonry work that will need to be done, and the removal of the 1,000-gallon heating oil tank. We are now estimating that the project is going to cost about $290,000, and we had $225 approved back in 2020. So we are looking for another $65,000. And, we believe that the project is still viable. We would like to move forward with it, not only for the savings of moving to natural gas, but more importantly, some major key components of our current heating and air system are coming or past their useful lifespan. So our current boiler is 30 years old. One of the air handlers and one of the condensing units were both built or manufactured in 2000, so they're about 23 years old. And then obviously the additional savings on continued maintenance and upkeep.
So,
Go ahead.
can I ask a question? So does the new amount allow you to have new air handlers and new conversions? So it's a whole new HVAC system?
It's a new HVAC system, yeah. So we cut out the the generator, which we were going to put in as a separate budget item this year. And the chief's office needed a separate system, which we're probably just going to pay for ourselves. It's a small system.
So Dave Sabini, who is our HVAC expert, employee, and Tony Campanella, who is our facility supervisor, they went and worked with them to determine what things in the original project had to happen for the natural gas conversion, and some things like changing the generator didn't have to happen, but all that HVAC work did.
So yeah, it's a new condensing unit, new air handler, boiler, hot water heater. Those are the big components, and then there's some obviously plumbing work that needs to be done, and electrical work.
All right, with this, though, is this all set and ready to go, or is there still some other things missing, or we're not really sure? And
No, we should be
this
we should be good
ends-
to go. The only issue we have now is we're running up against the winter, so
Right.
you
Yeah.
can't have the building without heat. So, in talking to the trades that have bid on it, there seems to be, they want to help us out, so they seem like they are willing to hold their prices for a while.
Okay.
But we would like to move, as soon as they're able to do it, we'd like to do it.
Okay. Other questions?
Yeah,
Monica?
I'm trying to figure out it says many items did not appear to be relevant to the project. So the initial project, when you went out to bid, you had,
Yeah,
Before they went out to
it was
bid.
before we went out to
Before.
bid. We were starting to get just quotes on our own to kind of get an idea of what this was going to cost. At that point, we were up around 440,000 because, like I said, the generator is pretty significant. And then there were some other things. We were going to replace some Modine heaters in the truck bay floor that could use replacement, but they're not critical
Right.
items now.
so that's great, the town was able to help you out and
Yeah,
give you
so
some
they're
direction on
Very
that.
appreciative.
That's great.
Very good. Other questions? Okay, motion to approve a transfer of $65,000 from Board of Finance Reserve to convert to natural gas from the Monroe Fire Department. Mike moves, Sarah seconds, all in favor? Unanimous, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Now we can talk about discuss and take action on a request to transfer $4,162 in unspent funds from upgrade town hall heating to the Board of Finance Capital Reserve.
We do that on a regular basis, so mostly focused around the budget time, but yes, if there's funds to be swept out and returned, we do. And that's all this is.
So, just briefly, for my own edification, what were the upgrades to the heating system?
Oh, we've had, it was about the air handlers. I can't explain the details
Okay.
of it, but it gave them greater control over temperatures to be a little more sensitive to the fluctuations in the various offices.
Okay, because they were cold downstairs today, I'm just kind of wondering. Well, they were, they're all wearing coats, and then, wait a minute.
That side of the building is cold in the morning, this side is colder in the afternoon. And, I find I send Ed messages, indicating that my teeth are chattering and my heat goes up. But it is an old building, and some of the routes to the pipes are very long, so when you're at the end of the line, your temperatures are gonna be a little bit more variable, but
Okay, any questions on this for Kate? Motion to approve a transfer of $4,162 back to the Board of Finance Reserve. Sarah moves, Monica second, all in favor? Unanimous, thank you. Okay. Appointments, we need to appoint a selectman to the Great Island Advisory Committee.
Make a motion. I'd like to appoint Monica McNally.
Excellent, that's an excellent motion. Second, Mike, any discussion?
Excited for you to get on that board. It'd be great.
Well, thank you for doing that. This is the most important thing we have going on right now, and your assistance in getting that done will be great, so thank you. All in favor?
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Okay. Next up, minutes. Everyone had a chance to look at those. Are there any edits or corrections to the minutes from?
October 17th.
Thank you, October 17th. Any
Okay.
corrections, edits,
Looked good.
questions? Okay, motion to approve the minutes of October 17, 2023. Mike moves, Sarah second, all in favor? Perfect, thank you. Okay. Agenda review. Anybody have anything for upcoming agendas? Michael?
I know a few weeks ago, we discussed speaking about perhaps revisions to the parking wait list. Someone, resident had come in with a suggestion about forfeiting a pass that, he wasn't using in return for paying a fee and then having the right to re-enter at or near the top of the wait list if all of a sudden he had a need to use the pass again. And the idea being that it might free up some spots for people who actually would use them as opposed to people who are just holding on to them in the case of ultimately needing them again. Again, very early stages, just a thought that came in, and I remember Monica had mentioned it at a meeting, and it was seemed like an idea worthy of at least trying to vet a little bit.
Okay, I seem to recall that. Do you have comments on that?
Yeah, I do. I mean, it was one person, so I'm not sure like how we would approach that, how we would, message that and see if we had any more buy-in. I mean, it's an interesting idea.
It's an interesting idea. My question would be is how much would they be willing to pay? Because, if you think we have, so say we have 500 spaces, we already oversell lots double. So we sell 2 permits for every 1 space. If we have, more people that we think some people are holding them and not going in there, why not sell 3 times? I think.
Sorry. No, I know the person who wrote in with the idea was the person who actually had the pass.
Yeah, it was
Felt bad that he wasn't using it and was trying to think of a way to, give it back for someone who used,
Yeah.
but kind of hedge, his bets a little bit.
Yeah, no, it's an interesting concept. I'm just not sure that other people are going to be willing to pay a lot of money for the chance that maybe in 4 years or whenever they could come back. But
Yeah. Well, I just thought
Yeah.
certainly worthy of maybe trying to discuss as a separate topic at a meeting at some
Sure.
point.
Who else would we maybe get to that meeting to inform us about that or add to the discussion besides our kind of speculating about it?
I think it'd be just us unless you had people commuters. But
Yeah. But,
staff-wise, Ann can provide all the numbers on the wait list and the permit renewals to me in advance of the meeting.
This might be interesting statistics to look at, so size of the lots, how many permits are issued, and any other statistics that they
Yeah,
collect on.
oh yeah, we have that.
Okay.
I think Kate and I talked about this a few times, and Kate kept coming up with all of the unintended consequences for this, so maybe instead of having a full discussion, maybe you write up a memo
Okay.
of all the things that, the what-ifs, and see if maybe that's a place to start.
That's a good idea. I mean, because you're right, there's,
Yeah.
anytime you tweak stuff like that, there's consequences that are hard
Yeah.
to see. All right, so maybe what we'll do is let's see what that note looks like, and then we'll pick that up. One suggestion I might have is for agenda review. Every time somebody mentions that, let's actually just add that to the agenda and say, agenda review at the last meeting was this. Someone asked to talk about this so that we don't forget, right? Because if somebody brings up a topic, I'd like to just keep kind of a running list of things, and either we discuss it and it comes off the list, or if we haven't actually picked up on your suggestion or we didn't follow up on that, I don't know if it needs to be on the agenda itself, but it'll be something that we can quickly access just so we can keep a running sort of tally of things that selectmen bring up, and we make sure that we do something with that and not forget it. Because I know I've forgotten a few times then when we brought up something and it just didn't get picked up. Okay, other items for agenda review? Okay. Seeing nothing else, we've got our next meeting is on Monday, November 27th, if that's correct. And then
Yes.
just as a reminder, the State of the Town is going to be on December 11th. The only thing I would add to this is I'm canceling OPC for this Wednesday. I've got another call commitment that I can't break that's at 9 o'clock that day. I don't think we know who the chairs of a couple of committees are going to be.
That's
in
correct,
case
we
until
don't.
tomorrow night, so
Yeah.
I'm not going to do OPC this month. We'll do that, or pick that up again next month. We have a meeting scheduled for the Board of Selectmen on Monday, December 4th. It's likely that I'm out of the country that day on a final trip for my current position, and so I was thinking that maybe we could keep a light agenda and just have a Board of Selectmen meeting in, say, the 30 minutes to an hour before the state of the town at 8 o'clock on Monday, the 11th. Would there be any disagreement with that? Could you guys do that? Maybe at 7 o'clock on Monday, December 11th?
Sure.
Kate, is that all right?
Yeah,
Yep.
yep, we'll,
All right, so we'll
I'll have
move that
Linda
meeting.
post that
Okay.
change.
All right, thank you.
It will be a special meeting,
Yeah, it's not.
so
Okay, anything else for the good of the order? Okay, motion to adjourn? Marcy, Mike, second? Okay, we're adjourned. Thank you.